We had completed 111 yesterday. We will continue with 112 till maybe 110. विमर्शरूपिणी विद्या. Parvatama ma'am, please unmute.
Okay. I thought you were going to complete one sloka and then we have to say, okay, I can say that.
No, because the words may be a little longer, so I'm just planning to break it down into chunks.
विमर्शरूपिणी विद्या विव्यदाति जगत्प्रसो.
Oh, 1 second. Just please repeat only so as much as I like repeat. Vimarsharupini Vidya
विमर्शरूपिणी विद्या
Viyadadi Jagat Prasuhu
वियदाति जगत्प्रसो.
Vimarsharupini Vidya
विमर्शरूपिणी विद्या
Viyadadi Jagat Prasuhu
वियदाति जगत्प्रसो.
Sarvavyadhi Prashamani
सर्वव्याधिप्रशमने
Sarvavyadhi Prashamani
सर्वव्याधिप्रशमने
सर्वमृत्युनिवारिणी
सर्वमृत्युनिवारिणि
सर्वमृत्युनिवारिणी
सर्वमृत्युनिवारिणि
विमर्शरूपिणी विद्या वियदादिजगत्प्रसूः
विमर्शरूपिणी विद्या वियदाति जगत्प्रसूः
सर्वव्याधिप्रशमनी सर्वमृत्युनिवारिणी
सर्वव्याधिप्रशमने सर्वमृत्युनिवारिणि.
Fantastic. अग्रगण्या चिन्त्यरूपा
अग्रगण्या चिन्त्यरूपा
अग्रगण्या चिन्त्यरूपा
अग्रगण्यचिन्त्यरूपा
कलिकल्मषनाशिनी
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 कात्यायनी कालहन्त्री
कात्यायिनी कालहन्त्री
कात्यायनी कालहन्त्री
कात्यायनी कालहन्त्री
कमलाक्षनिषेविता
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 कमलाक्षनिषेविता.
Perfect. अग्रगण्या चिन्त्यरूपा कलिकल्मषनाशिनी
चिन्त्यरूपा कलिकल्मषनाशिनी
कात्यायनी कालहन्त्री कमलाक्षनिषेविता
कात्यायनी कालहन्त्री कमलाक्षनिषेविता
ताम्बूलपूरितमुखी ताम्बूलपूरितमुखी दाडिमी कुसुमप्रभा दाडिमी कुसुमप्रभा मृगाक्षी मोहिनी मुख्या मृगाक्षी मोहिनी मुख्या मृडानी मित्ररूपिणी मृडानी मित्ररूपिणी
नित्यरूपिणी
ताम्बूलपूरितमुखी दाडिमी कुसुमप्रभा
ताम्रपीठमुखी दाडिमी कुसुमप्रभा
मृगाक्षी मोहिनी मुख्या मृडानी मित्ररूपिणी
मृगाक्षी मोहिनी क्षामृडानी मित्ररूपिणी
नित्यतृप्ता भक्तनिधिर्
नित्यतृप्ता भक्तनिधिर्
नित्यतृप्ता भक्तनिधिर्
नित्यतृप्ता भक्तनिधिर्
नियन्त्री निखिलेश्वरी
नियन्त्री निखिलेश्वरी
नियन्त्री निखिलेश्वरी
नियन्त्री निखिलेश्वरी
मैत्र्यादिवासना लभ्या
मैत्र्यादिवासनालभ्या
मैत्र्यादिवासना लभ्या
मैत्र्यादिवासनालभ्या
महाप्रलयसाक्षिणी
महाप्रणसाक्षी
महाप्रलयसाक्षिणी पराशक्तिः परानिष्ठा
शक्ति तत्परानिष्ठा
पराशक्तिः परानिष्ठा
शक्ति परानिष्ठा
प्रज्ञानघनरूपिणी
जगन्निनी
प्रज्ञानघनरूपिणी माध्वीपानालसा मत्ता
मादीपा sorry दीपाना sorry मादीपानालसा
माध्वीपानालसा मत्ता
मादीपानलसा
माध्वीपानालसा मत्ता
मादीपानलसा
मातृका वर्णरूपिणी
कामिनी
मातृका वर्णरूपिणी महाकैलासनिलया
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 कैलासनिलया
मृणाल मृदु दोर्लता
मृणालता
फैंटास्टिक मृणाल मृदु दोर्लता
मृणालता
महनीया दयामूर्तिर्
दया ते
महनीया दयामूर्तिर्
दया ते
महासाम्राज्यशालिनी
साम्राज्यशाली
महासाम्राज्यशालिनी
साम्राज्यशालिनी
फैंटास्टिक आत्मविद्या महाविद्या
आत्मविद्या महाविद्या
आत्मविद्या महाविद्या
अविद्या महाविद्या
श्रीविद्या कामसेविता
श्रीविद्या कामसेविता
श्रीविद्या कामसेविता
श्रीविद्या कामसेविता
श्रीषोडशाक्षरी विद्या
श्री षोडशाक्षरी विद्या
श्रीषोडशाक्षरी विद्या
श्रीषोडशाक्षरी विद्या
श्रीषोडशाक्षरी विद्या
श्रीषोडशाक्षरी विद्या
त्रिकूटा कामकोटिका
त्रिकूटा कामकोटिका
त्रिकूटा कामकोटिका
त्रिकूटा कामकोटिका
कटाक्ष किङ्करी भूत
कटाक्ष किङ्करी भूत
कटाक्ष किङ्करी भूत
कटाक्ष किङ्करी भूत
कमला कोटिसेविता
कमला सेविता
कमला कोटिसेविता
कमला सेविता
कटाक्ष किङ्करी भूत कमला कोटिसेविता
कटाक्ष किङ्करी भूत कमला सेविता
Perfect. शिरस्थिता चन्द्रनिभा
शिरस्थिता चन्द्रनिभा
शिरस्थिता चन्द्रनिभा
शिरस्थिता चन्द्रनिभा
भालस्थेन्द्र धनुः प्रभा
दस्ते अनुप्रभा
भालस्थेन्द्र धनुः प्रभा
दस्ते अनुप्रभा
हृदयस्था रविप्रख्या
हृदयस्था रविप्रख्या
हृदयस्था रविप्रख्या
हृदयस्था रविप्रख्या
Now, because there is pra, which is the samyukta akshara, the previous swara being a short vowel like Ravi, E is a hrasva swara. Therefore, we must emphasize the E, which means Hridayastha Ravi Prakhya
हृदयस्था रविप्रख्या
Trikonantaradipika
त्रिकोणान्तरदीपिका
Trikonantaradipika
त्रिकोणान्तरदीपिका
दाक्षायणी दैत्यहन्त्री
दाक्षायणी दैत्यहन्त्री
दाक्षायणी दैत्यहन्त्री
दाक्षायणी दैत्यहन्त्री
दक्षयज्ञविनाशिनी
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 दरान्दोलित दीर्घाक्षी
दरान्दोलितदीर्घाक्षी
दरान्दोलित दीर्घाक्षी
दरान्दोलितदीर्घाक्षी
दरहासोज्ज्वलन्मुखी
दरासुज्वलन्मुखी
दरहासोज्ज्वलन्मुखी
दरासुज्वलन्मुखी
गुरुमूर्तिर्गुणनिधिर्
गुणनिधिर्
गुरुमूर्तिर्गुणनिधिर् गोमाता गुहजन्मभूः
गोमाता गुहजन्मभूः
गोमाता गुहजन्मभूः
गोमाता जन्मभू
देवेशी दण्डनीतिस्था
देवेशी दण्डनीतिस्था
देवेशी दण्डनीतिस्था
देवेशी दण्डनीतिस्था
दहराकाशरूपिणी
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 प्रतिपन्मुख्य राकान्त
प्रतिपन्मुख्य राकान्त
प्रतिपन्मुख्य राकान्त
प्रति प्रतिपन् प्रतिपन्मुख्य राकान्त
करेक्ट तिथिमण्डल पूजिता
तिथिमण्डल पूजिता
तिथिमण्डल पूजिता
तिथिमण्डल पूजिता
प्रतिपन्मुख्य राकान्त तिथिमण्डल पूजिता
प्रतिपन्मुख्य राकान्त तिथिमण्डल पूजिता
कलात्मिका कलानाथा
कलात्मिका कलानाथ
कलात्मिका कलानाथा
कलात्मिका कलानाथ
काव्यालाप विनोदिनी काव्यालाप विनोदिनी सचामर रमावाणी सचामर रमावाणी सव्य दक्षिण सेविता
सव्य दक्षिण सेविता
सव्य दक्षिण सेविता
सव्य दक्षिण सेविता
सचामर रमावाणी सव्य दक्षिण सेविता
सव्य दक्षिण सेविता
आदिशक्तिरमेयात्मा
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 परमा पावनाकृतिः
परमा पावतिः
परमा पावनाकृतिः
परमा पावतिः
अनेककोटिब्रह्माण्ड अनेककोटिब्रह्माण्ड जननी दिव्यविग्रह
जननी दिव्यविग्रह
जननी दिव्यविग्रह
जननी दिव्यविग्रह
अनेककोटिब्रह्माण्ड जननी दिव्यविग्रह
अनेककोटि जननी दिव्यविग्रह
क्लीङ्कारी केवला गुह्या
क्लीङ्कारी केवला
क्लीङ्कारी केवला गुह्या
श्रीकारि केवला
कैवल्यपददायिनी
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 त्रिपुरा त्रिजगद्वन्द्या
त्रिपुरा जगद्वन्द्या
त्रिपुरा त्रिजगद्वन्द्या
त्रिपुरा जगद्वन्द्या
त्रिमूर्तिस् त्रिदशेश्वरी
त्रिमूर्तिस्तिस् त्रिदशेश्वरी
त्रिमूर्तिस् त्रिदशेश्वरी
त्रिमूर्तिस्ति sorry
No worries, take your time.
शेश्वरी
त्रिदशेश्वरी
Sridadesh. I think Sridash. Okay. Sridasheshwari. Okay. Yeah. Trimurtis. This. Sridadeshwari.
त्रिमूर्तिस् त्रिदशेश्वरी
Trimurtis. Sridasheshwari.
त्रिमूर्तिस्
Trimurtis.
त्रिदशेश्वरी
Sridasheshwari.
त्रिमूर्तिस् त्रिदशेश्वरी
Trimurtis. Sridadesh.
No, there is no extra
Yeah,
tris.
I think in Kannada I'm reading something slightly different. Sorry.
Okay, so it is Trimurtis Tridasheshwari. Trimurtis not Strida, because the sa I have already included it with the previous word. So Trimurtis Tridasheshwari. Trimurtis Tridasheshwari. Please tell it.
This is Sridasheshwari.
Okay, we'll work on this. Right. So, but very nice. All of this, we have so far completed 14 verses. Aneke dhanyavadaha. Many thanks to you, ma'am. I want, if Pavitra ma'am is there, is Pavitra ma'am there?
Yeah, madam. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can you try this shloka again?
Right, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you please try the same shloka, 125?
But, sir.
Klinkari.
Clean. कैवल्यापददायिनी त्रिपुरा जगद्वद्या त्रिमूर्तश्रितशेश्वरी.
Okay, needs some improvement, but okay, fine. It's all right. So we'll stop here. Let's continue with our discussion on the meanings. Were we at 50 something? 57 is done. Maheshwara Mahakalpa Mahatandava Sakshini. We have seen that she is the Tripura Sundari who witnesses the Pralaya Tandava of Maheshwara at the end of a Kalpa. when energies are springing forth and entropy is increasing in the universe, causing complete dissolution and obliteration of all structured systems. So all systems are falling apart, all framework is collapsing, and all that beautiful violent tandava that Maheshwara does, she is a silent witness to it. She neither condones it nor forbids him from continuing his own role, his roles and responsibilities. Next, चतुष्षष्ट्युपचाराढ्या चतुष्षष्टि कलामयी महाचतुष्षष्टि कोटि योगिनी गण सेविता. She is Chatushashti Upachara Adhya. She has been worshipped in 64 different ways. Chatu means 4, Shashti is 6, 64. 64 vidye. Chatushashti Upacharadhya. She has been worshipped in 64 different methods. So we usually do a Shodashopachara puja, right? In all that dhyana, avahana, arghya, padya, naivedya, mangalarti, namaskara, arghya, and all of that is prasanna. All of that comprises just 16 steps of doing a puja. She takes it 4 times further, and she likes being worshipped in 64 different upacharas with 64 different rituals, steps of rituals, and Chatushashti Kalamayi. And synchronously, there are also 64 different kalas. Kala means an art form. So she is the manifestation, the embodiment of the 64 different kalas. Now, kala includes, in olden days, kalas represented any form of vidya was called kala. It's an art form. In fact, even science to a certain degree is art because it requires ultimately after the high school and textbook level science, we realize, at least those people who are in science, they realize that the deduction and logic will take us only to some degree. And beyond that is like an artist, you are just intuiting theorems. You're just intuiting formula. You're intuiting uh, the methodology to find an objective and so on and so forth. So there is always an artistic component to every vidya, to every uh, field of knowledge. And that artistic, aesthetic, and intuitive component comes from an unknown source from within us, and that Lalita Amba is. And in fact, all the 464 Vidyas, they are like the Shastras, then reading, writing, listening, leadership, and magic. In fact, magic is also one of the 64 Vidyas. It's called Indrajala, and um, different other forms of entertainment like Nritya, Geeta, Vadya, and then Purana, Katha Vachana, and all of these were the different 64 fields you could major in. And Mahachatushashti Koti Yogini Gana Sevita. And not only is she the symbol of knowledge, but also the yoginis. There are 64 different yoginis themselves too. And those 64 yoginis worship her. Maha Chatushashti Koti Yogini. Now, here Koti refers to a group, not a crore. 64, a group of 64 different yoginis, they worship her. In fact, I will send it across on the group. This very nice temple in Orissa called the Chausak Yogini Temple. But I think it is there at. Hmm?
I've seen that.
You have it? Oh, okay, okay. It's a I have myself not been to it, but you can please share the experience. How was the temple?
You can follow some rituals, like it is a tantric rituals there. Even now, I think nowadays it's not allowed, I guess.
Mhm.
But there's lot of idols are broken. It's a small temple which is in the round shape. You
Correct.
enter to bend yourself to enter the temple.
Mm-hmm.
All like Ganesha, Indra, Vishnu, everybody is in the form of a female in that temple. And everybody, even though the normally in Hinduism, if the idols are broken, it is not worshipped, right? But there it is worshipped. All the idols are worshipped, and every day they do puja there.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Just maybe around 20 kilometers from Bhubaneswar.
From Bhubaneswar. Oh, is it? Okay.
Yes. Yeah,
And
that's
is there a Garbha Gruha where a central Devata is kept?
yes. One central devata is there. See, normally in North India, they cover up everything. So, I mean, whatever the alankara they make, not too much alankara, but they cover up with the red cloth and also. I think that is the custom which is generally followed in those temples in northern part of India. But there is one Devi Murti is there in the center of that, in that center of that circle.
Okay.
That
Okay.
is the bigger one. All others are very small one, but it is very beautiful. The structures are very beautiful.
Wow.
Statues of those two.
Could you, I mean, if you don't mind, please, whichever you're comfortable with, if you can share any pictures of the actual temple, it would be really great. Yeah, please share it on the group. Thank you, ma'am. So, these 64 devatas, they are said to be tantric yoginis. So, yogini itself means a great advanced practitioner of yoga. And she is always surrounded by these 64 yoginis. So, a very big horde of women, of lady sadhikas, who are themselves so powerful that just one yogini is enough to be on par with an avatara, say of Vishnu, of Shiva, whoever. So they are very powerful, very mystical goddesses. They were supposed, I mean, at least historically speaking, they were said to be actual humans who would go in bands of 64. But then perhaps through Puranic and other significances, they may have taken on the status of being a goddess themselves too. So you see, there is the upachara, which is the karma kanda component. So there is the ritualistic component of her being worshipped in 64 steps of a ritual. And then she is also the jnana kanda. She also represents knowledge itself. It is not just karma, it is also jnana. And then there is yoga also, because she is being worshipped by the yoginis themselves. And of course, yoginis are no ordinary women. Uh, they are very radical and very staunch in their practices and austerities. So if they must be worshipping her, of course there is some gravitas to Lalita there. Manu Vidya, Chandra Vidya, Chandra Mandala Madhyaga, Charu Rupa, Charuhasa, Charu Chandra Kaladhara. She is the Vidya, she is the knowledge, the secrets of Manu. Manu means mantras here. It's not this Vaivasvata Manu or which are other Manus. It is the Vidya of the mantras. She represents the Vidyas of mantras. And Chandra Vidya. Chandra here is a symbol for the mind. We always say the phases of the moon represent the phases of our mind, right? It also undergoes exaltations and debilitations depending uh, whether it is correlated with the moon or not is a different question. But definitely, analogically, at least, the our minds also undergo those turbulences. It rides those waves. So she has the knowledge, the psychic knowledge of the mind, the secrets of the mind. And Chandra Mandala Madhyaga, she is residing within the Chandra Mandala, in the orb of the moon. So the heavenly body that we actually see, the physical moon that we see, she is said to be residing at the very center, the core of the moon. And that is also true in astrology, because any people who have this Chandra dosha or whatever, they are strongly suggested to worship Devi. In fact, Gauri specifically, because she is also white in color and she is closest in resemblance to Chandra. And Chandra in astrology, if any of you are aware, also represents the mother. While Surya represents the father, Chandra represents the mother. And at least in Vedic astrology, the Chandra Rashi, which means the Rashi in which Chandra is placed while we are born, is what we usually tell in temples and to the priests and so on, right? So, for example, Simha Rashi, Tula Rashi, and so on. So, in fact, it is not even the Rashi where Surya is. It is actually the Rashi where Chandra is, that holds greater significance in Vedic astrology. It goes on to say that because we are born from our mothers, we are born from a feminine force. At the time of birth, where that feminine force is, which is Lalita, where in the form of Chandra, where she is placed in the constellations, will form the basis of our identity. So whether for referring for marriages, Griha Pravesha, Brahmopadesha, for tithis or whatever stuff, we always refer to the Chandra Rashi because she's residing in the colony of Chandra, in the lunar colony. Charu Rupa, a very beautiful form she has, very attractive, very glamorous form she has, and Charuhasa, a very evocative, very seductive smile she has, and Charu Chandra Kaladhara. Charu Chandra, Chandra again is the moon. Kala is a part of the moon. Chandra Kala means a part of the moon, which is a crescent moon. Dhara, she wears it. She wears this very beautiful crescent moon, a half moon on her head. Charachara Jagannatha Chakraraja Niketana. She is the Natha, she is the Odati, she is the Yajamana, she is the owner of Charachara Jagat. She is the owner, the proprietor of the immovable and the movable Jagat. Jagat means the universe. So the universe is split into categories. One is those which are immovable, those which are movable. Chara, achara. Though in fact everything moves relative to each other, we just in our perspective we see the mountains, the trees, the moon, the stars as being immovable, whereas those which move are like the creatures, organisms, water, and all of this. So all that has life, which does not have life, all that is animate and inanimate, all which is movable and immovable, the Jagat, the all of that is being controlled and owned solely by Lalita. Chakraraja Niketana. Niketana means a house. She is addressed. She is housed on the Chakra Raja. She is housed in the Sri Chakra Yantra. It's called a Chakra Raja because it is the greatest of all yantras. Chakra Raja. In fact, it is so powerful that even Vyabhichara means that black magic that we usually associate wrongly with Tantra is actually called Vyabhichara. Vyabhichara Vidya. So that pricking of dolls and tying something to a tree uh, and then doing homa with alcohol and all of that is you know ಆ ವಾಮಾಚಾರ ಅಂತ ನಾವೇನ್ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಅದು ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ವಾಮಾಚಾರ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ವ್ಯಭಿಚಾರ ವಿದ್ಯಾ ಅಂತ ಅಂತೀವಿ ವ್ಯಭಿಚಾರ ಅಂತ ವಾಮಾಚಾರ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಬ್ರಾಡ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ ವಾಮಾಚಾರ ನಾವು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ದಂಗೆ ದೆರ್ ಆರ್ ಟೂ ಮಾರ್ಗಸ್ ಕೌಲ ಅಂಡ್ ಸಮಯ ಅಂತ ದಕ್ಷಿಣ ಮಾರ್ಗ ಅಂಡ್ ವಾಮ ಮಾರ್ಗ ಅಂತ ಎರಡಿದೆ ದೇರ್ ವಾಮ ಮಾರ್ಗ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ರೆಫರ್ಸ್ ಟು ಅ ವೆರಿ ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ವೆರಿ ಸಾತ್ವಿಕ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ತಂತ್ರ ಓನ್ಲಿ but it is like I discussed earlier, it has more to do with the Bijakshara recitations, doing sadhanas at odd hours, basically challenging the norms of society. That is what Vamachara or Vama Marga comprises. But what all of this black magic stuff is not even Vamachara, it is called a Vyabhichara. And Chakra Raja is so powerful that in a house which holds the Sri Chakra Yantra or the Sri Chakra, the Murti, and where continuous puja of some small form or bigger form is being done, that house and that environment is said to be protected eternally from any such black magic influence. This is a very strong, very most powerful yantra. In fact, there are some very powerful tantric homas and mantras also like Pratyangira and so on, which even the astrologers on usual daytime astrology channels on the news channels will be proclaiming. But that Pratyangira, Narasimha mantra and all of that is very powerful indeed, but none of them in their actual sense of being a yantra compare to the Chakra Raja. That's why it is called Chakra Raja, the king of the chakras, the king of the yantras. And there she resides. There Lalita resides. Parvati, and we can also deduce this quite logically because of all the relatives around us, who is the one who will protect us the most? It is the mother, is it not? So she is Sri Mata, and she, being closest to us, if we do proper invocation of her, and if we do surrender to her, then she will be invoked in the bhava of Sri Mata, of being a mother. And even our mamas may not protect us as dearly as our mothers do. So she, therefore, when invoked in the Sri Chakra, is a very strong defensive guard against evil forces. Parvati, the Parvata Putri, she is Parvati. Padma Nayana, she has beautiful eyes, which the iris of her eyes look like Padmas. The spokes of her eyes, the iris, they look like the petals of a leaf. Padma Nayana. Padma Raga Samaprabha, and her form, her hue, the body color is of the raga, of the color of a reddish color, the reddish tinge of the Padma, of a lotus. A very pinkish red color she has. Pancha Pretasanasina Pancha Brahma Swarupini. She sits on a chair, asana. Asina means she is sitting on an asana which is made of 5 dead bodies. Pancha Preta Asana Sina. Now, what these 5 dead bodies are, these corpses actually refer to the Pancha Brahma themselves. What are they, if you remember? Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, Ishana, Sadashiva. Do you remember? Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the sustainer, Rudra, the destroyer, Ishvara, who conceals, lot of concealment, and Sadashiva, who uh, unconceals or disclosure. That these are the 5 major functions, and she is sitting on these 5 corpses. She's sitting on a chair which has the legs themselves to be residing on these 5 corpses of entities. Goes on to say that she, in her tattva, is beyond these 5 operations of any god, of any creator. She has risen beyond the roles of being just a creator, of a destroyer, and so on. She is more than that. And she is the Pancha Brahma Swarupi. Not only is she showing her supremacy over the 5 Brahmas, but in fact, the Brahmas themselves are her only. Pancha Brahma Swarupini. It is not that this is a very fanatical text which is trying to somehow show Lalita is the greatest god, and so everybody should stop doing their own Ishtadevata puja and start and convert towards Lalita. It is not so, because every single second line of the shloka itself will, though it will say she is greater, it will also go on to say those very other people are also her only in a different form. Pancha Brahma Swarupini. And Chinmayi, she is of the form of consciousness. Chinmay, Chit means consciousness. Chinmayi. Paramananda, uh, the form of greatest happiness, greatest ecstasy and joy is she. Vijnana Ghana Rupini, the form of Vijnana Ghana. Ghana means a collection or a dense, um, dense state of being. That is Ghana. Vijnana Ghana means the state of consolidated wisdom, of consolidated special experience. Vijnana. Here, jnana doesn't literally mean just some knowledge, bookish knowledge, or some parroted knowledge of some gurus or parampara. It is not so. Vijnana has a very special meaning. It is not even science. Vijnana refers to special experiences, means a different way of perspective, a different way of seeing things. So that higher supreme state where it's called the Paramarthika Satta, the state of looking at the universe and everything around us from a very higher perspective, that is said to be Vijnana. And such a state, that awareness, when it has risen to that level and it has crystallized altogether, that itself is Lalita. She is the crystallized higher consciousness, Vijnana Ghana Rupini. Therefore, meaning it is not that she goes on to this higher states once in a while and then comes back. She is the crystallized form, meaning she is complete in herself as well as in continual state of that awareness of Vijnana. And to put this all together, in fact, there is a very famous shloka where Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham, which is very famous, where they are equating the aspect of God, which is said to be Chit, which is living, which is conscious, which is awareness, with Ananda, which is, in at least in our experience, we feel Ananda as being an emotion. Do we not? We feel happiness, we feel the absence of happiness. We feel pain, which we say is the absence or the negation of happiness. We feel discomfort, we feel unhappy, and so on. So, Ananda is somehow connected to emotion, whereas Chit, which is consciousness, is somehow connected to the intellect. So, they have their favorite faculties of the mind. However, on a deeper analysis, even the Taittiriya Upanishad says, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. So that supreme reality, which in this text we are calling as Lalita, is Satyam. It is eternal. Jnanam, it is experience, it is knowledge or consciousness, and Anantam, that which is unlimited, unending, and that is called as Brahma. Similarly, here Chit refers to that aspect of it being jnana, of it being aware. Ananda refers to that aspect of it being unlimited, of unending, unceasing joy. And she is, of course, Satta because she is the eternal. And it goes on to say that at this state of supreme awareness, of being completely aware of our world, lies also Ananda. And why is that so? So, as a simple example, if we were to think of in our own daily lives, uh, let's say there is a, a drama, a skit being played out, and for a moment, I have forgotten myself. I'm playing a character. Let's say I'm playing the character of a king, and this king undergoes turmoils. He loses his kingdom in the play. I'm saying in the skit, I have lost my kingdom, and now I am wailing. And then comes another, the queen, my sons, my daughters, and all of them. And they're all also grieving with me. But then, because I have forgotten who I actually am, and that this is a skit, uh, the director comes and says, "Hello, what are you doing? You are still. I mean, the play is over. You can go back home." But now I am very confused because I have lost my kingdom, I have lost my palace, I have nowhere else to go. So then he will tell me that you're actually not this king, you're just playing a role, and you are actually Sudarshan, you are this actor who has a home in Bengaluru, and you can go back there. So this very knowledge, jnana, this experience, this another, the supreme level of looking has created awareness in me, which is Chit, and because of which I am now dissociated from both the pains and pleasures of the role of a king. I have dissociated myself, which leads to unending joy. So it may not be the real joy that we get by, when you enjoy an ice cream or when you watch a movie. That is exactly not what Ananda is. Ananda means Ananta, that which is unlimited, which means it is not Badhita, it is not disturbed or perturbed by the flow of time. So that is said to be Ananda. So that equipoise, that tranquility will come because now I have this jnana, this knowledge of myself, this awareness of myself. And even if I have to be called for the skit next day, I will go, and because now I am in awareness, I will in fact do my role better. So this is how they say Chit is equal to Ananda. And conversely, too, if I need to be in Ananda, I must necessarily be in Chit. I must be aware of my life. And she, Lalita, is both these aspects, Chinmayi and Paramananda, Vijnana Ghana Rupini. Then, if you remember, we said she is a yogini, correct? Yogeshwareshwari. And here it describes what Patanjali actually describes in one of his sutrams, finally in the Samadhi Pada, where it says there are the triputis. Triputi means there are three objects, I mean, three entities. One is while I am meditating, I, as this person, is present. And then there is the thing that I'm meditating on. Let's say I'm watching this laptop. Then there is the laptop, and then the process, the exchange of knowledge happening between the two. That is called dhyana, dhyatra, dhyeya. Dhyeya is the laptop. Dhyatra, the one who is meditating or focusing, is I. And dhyana, the exchange of signals, of the brain signals and light particles are happening, which is the dhyana. She is the form of this triputi, all the three. And we see this happen in daily life too. It is not just about meditation. In fact, there is this, in every language, there is a subject, an object, and a verb, which is the basic of any sentence of any language, is it not? There is a subject, the doer, there is something which he is using to do that work, and then there's a process of doing. So this is called a triputi, which is there, which is encapsulated in the language as subject, object, verb, and which is necessary to even function in the world. Because without any objects, I cannot function. There will be no action. And without the doer also, there is no action. And if I have the doer and the object, there must be some action which is happening. Otherwise, the definition itself is null and void. So all these three always go together. So the removal of one would signify the cessation of all the three together. And that is a state of samadhi, which Patanjali also describes later on. Dharma dharma vivarjita. She is beyond morality, beyond dharma, right and wrong, dharma, adharma, sustainable and unsustainable ways of living. She is beyond both. Because, of course, there is nobody to judge her. There is no judgment day. There is no supreme authority to say this is the right thing to do, this is a sustainable thing to do. So, such ideas do not exist for her. Vishwarupa, she has a cosmic form, so the form of the universe itself. Jagarini Swapanti Taijasatmika. She represents the universe in the wakeful state. So Vishwarupa Jagarini. So in the Jagarat, in the wakeful state that all of us hopefully are in, we are all experiencing the world around us. We are experiencing this house, this wall, bricks, window, fan, sun, moon, stars, galaxies. All of this is the Vishwarupa. It's the world around us. The Pancha, the Prapanchita, expanded from the Panchabhutas in the wakeful state. However, when I'm sleeping, Swapanti, when I'm dreaming, all of this somehow completely vanishes. Does it not? It completely vanishes, and some weird visuals come before me. So, at least in that temporary state of my awareness in the dream, the world has disappeared. Though I'll come back to it the next day is another thing. In that state of dream, subjectively, for me, the world no more exists. I'm only hallucinating. I mean, there are some hallucinations and some pictures, some images which are running across the brain, perhaps sometimes linked with a story. In most cases, they're illogical. They do not have any story or logical backing to them. And that is called Taijasa. Taijasa means just uh, forms of energy. Tejas means some spark, some output of energy. Taijasa therefore means some visuals, some imagery that we see. She is, of course, both the prapancha as well as the subjective person involving in the prapancha. And then she is the dreamer, Swapanti, as well as the visuals that the dreamer sees, Taijasatmika. And then when both of these shut down, that is when the external body also has shut down, and the internal chattering, the visuals, random imagery also has shut down. we enter a state called the supta, which means a deep sleeper. There is no image, there is no consciousness, there is no uh, um, object also, a verifiable object also. There is neither a subjective nor an objective experience. So a complete negation of experience, we such a state we enter into, that she is. And in such a state, she takes on the form of prajna. Prajna is mm, the world that the person who is, I mean, there's no person as such who is undergoing the deep sleep state, but there is an apparent person, because finally, after we wake up, we recognize somehow and draw this, we interpolate and say, no, it was I only who slept soundly. I slept like a log. I slept very deeply. But how is it that I experienced it? We don't know, because at that moment, we don't know if even I was there. And therefore, it's a very deep subject. In fact, the Mandukya Upanishad describes very, very nicely, and the entire Mandukya Karika itself, authored by Gaudapada Acharya, analyzes these three states, which are common to every human being, in great analysis. Some other day, maybe we can, I mean, if you're interested, you can look that up. A very nice commentary by Swami Chinmayananda is also available. So, in English, so this state where there is an apparent identity, but a complete absence of both internal and external objects, is said to be the prajna state. Prajna literally means the state of prajna, of just awareness. And why is there awareness? Because though at that moment uh, there is no self awareness, there is no object to reflect the light, the consciousness, um, and reflect it back to me. Only then will we know that I exist, right? So only if I am looking at some objects around me do I even know that I exist. Similarly, in the dream also, there is no question if to as to if I exist, because I keep seeing these weird, illogical images. But once all of that is wiped off, when there is completely no object before me, just as the sun, the light of the sun spreads in all directions. But unless there is a planet or a comet or whatever to block that light and reflect it back, the sun itself can never know its true glory. Is it not? Only if there is an object will light be reflected and come back to the sun to see that there was an object. It will report that there was an object. And therefore, by inference, I will know I also exist. So there's a very famous philosophical quote by Descartes. I think, therefore I am, right? So only because I am able to see my thoughts in my brain running, do I infer that I exist. If there were no thoughts, then it is very hard to logically conclude that if even I exist. So such a state is what deep sleep or anesthesia sleep, etc. are. Or this coma also, as medical sciences have shown to be. So such states are also governed by Lalita itself. Finally, the Mandukya Karika says, I mean, the Mandukya Upanishad says, Nantaf prajnam na bahish prajnam no bhayataf prajnam na prajnana ghanam na prajnam na prajnam adrishyam avyaktam avyavaharyam avyapadeshyam, and so on and so forth. So it negates all the three states where the consciousness is either outside, is externally facing, or internally facing, or facing nothingness, or any other in between states. All of this is actually not the real state, but in fact, it is the Chaturtham Manyante Sa Atma, that soul of ours. The Upanishad points out is called the Turiya. Turiya means the fourth state, literally, where Sarva Avastha Vivarjita, which is bereft, which is removed from all the uh, ups and downs, going and coming of the avasthas. Avastha means these states of consciousness are called avasthas. So those states of awareness are temporary, they are bound in time. Is it not? Now I'm currently awake. In 2 or 3 hours, I'll go to sleep. I may be dreaming, and then that will also somehow involuntarily stop, and then I'll go into a deeper state, and then come back up, and then repeat the cycle entire for the rest of my life. So these are different avasthas governed by time. But Turiya is said to be that underlying reality of the three states also, in which there is no going and no coming. Yat prapya nanivartante tadhama paramam mama, Sri Krishna says. So that residence, that palace, or that place, the destination, once you reach there, there is no further coming and going. So that is the Turiya Avastha, which Lalita represents. And then goes on to describe the five Brahmas, which we shall see in tomorrow's class. This may have been a little heavy session, but of course, I myself am also not really clear with the comprehensive understanding. So this is a very important disclaimer that I must put before you all. So because it is important that I be intellectually honest with all of you. So this is just what I have gleaned from the Mandukya Upanishad about the three states of consciousness. For those who are interested in more uh, information about this, please refer to, like I said, the Mandukya Karika, and most of Vedanta, any Vedantic book will definitely touch upon these states too. Any questions and inputs is always welcome.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste.
You said, I didn't know.
Manu here represents mantra. In Sanskrita, a synonym for mantra is called Manu. So Manu Vidya means the knowledge of mantras. Any other question? Dhanyavad. Any other question? Yes, Usha ma'am. Namaste.
Chandra Mandala, like we know Surya Mandala, it's basically a lot of elements. And what does the Chandra Mandala actually refers to? What are the other components around Surya?
So in Samskrita, mandala, one, it refers to orbits, I agree, which is why we say Surya Mandala means is the, or the planetary system. But Chandra Mandala, so the other meaning of mandala is the planet itself, because it is round. Mandala andre disk anta, that spherical disk is called a mandala. So the Chandra Mandala means the lunar disk. So Chandra Mandala Madhyaka means that who is who is at the center of the the lunar spherical disk. So Chandramandala refers just to Chandra itself, to moon itself. Correct, correct. Yes.
And I have one small information to share with respect to one of the word here.
Please do.
Yeah, it is on the credit goes to one of the vice person. I happened to see them him discussing with one of the shop which I was just visiting over there, toy shop for my son. And there was a lot of discussion like Dharma, Mukti, and what happens if Atma gets released from Jnana Indriya community and all the stuff. But apart from that, then I asked, okay, fine, there are a lot of information present in the internet. What to follow? As a like a lay person, I asked him. Then he said it is actually Jnana. Jnana is an information, it's a knowledge, but when it is authenticated by a wise, knowledgeable person or Rishi or some, like it is being Siddha, when the Jnana is approved, then it becomes a Vijnana. And he gave an example. Some 50 years back, young couple, they just eloped from the house, and then they had some money and they spent in a hotel, and later on they decided to go to rent a house and start for themselves. But both from a rich family, they didn't know how to cook, so they purchased a book how to cook the rice. So they kept everything on the stove as per the description. And they waited for 1 hour, and a neighbor lady, a wise lady, she was watching them. And later on, the curiosity, very polite way, she asked, why are you sitting and staring at the stove? And they said, we followed all the steps in the book, but rice is not yet getting cooked. And she said, the old lady said, you have to get the stove fast and get cooked. So they said, those 8 couples said, it's not written in the book. So whatever information we get is a jnana, and it's being approved and tested rather by a jnani or a actual guru, right? So this is what.
Very beautifully, correct. So, very nice, very funny story too. Yeah, Dhanyawad. Very interesting. Anybody else would like to add something? Please do interact. It's not advisable to remain silent if you have something to share. There's no right or wrong here. We are all fellow learners, fellow sadhakas on this path. In fact, most of you are already very learned and very wise in life. Okay, so I shall meet you all tomorrow. Dhanyawad. Namaste. Dhanyawad. Thank you. Dhanyawad.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ
Dhanyawad.